If Mercy Masai expected applause, ululations, and maybe a few Mheshimiwa loading comments from Kenyans online, she was in for a rude shock because instead, the timeline turned into a fully furnished courtroom with Kenyans arriving kama kawa kama dawa with receipts, screenshots, and enough opinions to immediately squash those expectations. Recently, Mercy Masai officially announced that she'll be vying for the women representative seat in Kajiado County come 2027 elections. And this was a crossover nobody saw coming. But on the Kenyan internet, it's always advisable to be ready for any shocker or surprise, and this was one of those. Now, let's look at the announcement, because this was not just a normal announcement. This was a decorated announcement. Very inspirational, very servant leader, quote unquote, very my people, my passion, quote unquote. Taken to X, Mercy Masai reintroduced herself to the public. And let's be honest, this reintroduction was necessary because according to the streets, Mercy Masai is known for something entirely different through gossip blogs and whispered allegations. In her reintroduction, she described herself as a psychologist by profession, a farmer by passion, and a community activist driving change through her Mercy Masai Mission CBO. Then she laid out her vision for Kajiado County, breaking tribal and clan barriers, improving healthcare, education, and serving the people. Looking at these words, beautiful words, sweet words, flowery and decorated words, the kind of words politicians sprinkle like coriander on pilau every election season. But you see, Kenyans are tired of inhaling the fragrance of these promises. So immediately she presented herself for this seat. The reactions were brutal, with netizens saying that leadership positions are not sexually transmitted diseases. Ish. The timeline wasn't holding back, because the first thing many people brought up was her alleged association with politicians, and particularly one politician, that being Oscar Sudi. There have been long-running rumors surrounding the two. If in case you're hearing about these rumors for the first time, or the name Mercy Masai for the first time, here's a video we did before where you can get to fill in all the missing gaps. Haha, Mercy Masai for a women rep just because she's been sleeping with politicians and rubbing it on our faces. Mwache mchezo bwana. Another netizen commented, Kajiado deserves better. They shouldn't allow such kind of women to be their women rep. With another one boldly adding, mtu analala na corrupt politicians wanamconvince kwa pillow talk that she can become a women rep. We will be here 2027. Then came the second question that kept flying around the timeline like a stubborn mosquito at night. What exactly has she done to deserve the role? According to critics, despite having a massive platform on X, Mercy Masai has never really positioned herself as someone passionate about governance, civic education, or political accountability. Many argued that most of her content revolves around lifestyle, aesthetics, soft life captions. The internet clearly never forgets. You can't spend years posting soft life chronicles on your timeline, then suddenly wake up sounding like Nelson Mandela during campaign season and expect nobody to ask questions. Kenyans started looking around like, Madam, when exactly did this leadership calling arrive? Huyo amebid kusimama women rep na mmempigia makofi sana mkisema go girl, but mimi sijawahi mwona akiongelea anything constructive about national interest or related government policies except kutuonyesha matako and all the high-end places she hangs out. Hata akona manifesto, one netizen asked. And just when Mercy Masai tried to defend herself, another tweet came forth seconding the previous one. Pia mimi sijawahi ona ukiongea anything about government or politics or hata the economy ya nchi. All you do is post haga yako na showing us high-end places umepelekwa na Sudi and other politicians. The other issue, her behavior and personality. How does she treat people? How does she respond to criticism? And the way she recently responded to the criticism she faced, that said a lot for Kenyans online. Now, at some point, one female trip criticized her and Mercy Masai fired back with insults. We've already looked at this comment from Nyambura, and guess how Mercy Masai responded? Unakwanga de mwingine roho chafu ajab. I understand why your baby daddy left. Kuishi na mchawi kama wewe si rahisi. Umeshinda huku ukipost haga haijawahi nasa hata kafagi na uko na audacity ya kuongea fuda. So now imagine this as your women rep. Many questioned if she was already speaking to a fellow woman like this, then how would she be addressing fellow women while on that seat? But maybe the biggest reason Kenyans reacted so strongly is because the whole thing triggered bad deja vu, yani PTSD ya uchaguzi. The women representative seat in Kenya has become one of the most criticized political offices in recent years because many Kenyans feel these leaders that get elected disappear into weird content, dance videos, designer outfits, and political praise singing, while women and children back home continue to struggle. They haven't been advocating for the issues that women and children in this country are facing. For instance, the growing femicide issue. And of late, we've also noticed there's been an increase in missing children, which has become a national problem. But these women representatives haven't said anything about any of this. And so, inevitably, comparisons started flying. And people began mentioning leaders like Karen Nyamu and other controversial female politicians, saying they do not want to see the same. To many Kenyans, the fear is not just about Mercy Masai, it's about a growing culture where fame, connections, and online popularity are slowly replacing merit, activism, and actual leadership credentials. I have no problem with Mercy Masai becoming women rep. I wish her well. My biggest worry is experiencing Karen Nyamu / Millicent Omanga era in our 40s because ni role models wake. That's depressing. It seems like there's no end to this cycle. But Mercy Masai herself seems unbothered by the criticism. If there's one thing she strongly believes in, it's God's favor. Quote unquote. According to her, favor can locate someone regardless of qualifications, experience, or public approval. In fact, when the controversial appointment of Gaucho becoming a board member at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital sparked backlash online, Mercy Masai defended it using that same argument, divine favor. And going back to her announcement, she even dropped a Bible verse. 1 minute someone is selling waist beads online, the next minute they are promising universal healthcare and fighting corruption. Now the real question is whether Kenyans will choose her when that time comes and elect her in this leadership role. Because one thing about Kenya, the timeline can drag you from morning till evening, then still vote for you on election day. So would you be one of these people? Talk to us in the comment section. What are your thoughts on Mercy Masai's bid? And do you think she has done anything to deserve this role? And of course, stay tuned right here on BNN for more celebrity tea, for more updates, and for exclusive tea to Pate Pale BNN Premium. Also, remember you can get to market your business, you can get to market your products via our channels. Just reach out to us, text us on BNN MarketBot, and we shall get you started. Thank you for watching. See you next time.